What is up, True Northers? I am here today to give you a mini tutorial on the Kettlebell Windmill. So the Kettlebell Windmill has a whole host of benefits like hip mobility, hamstring flexibility, glute strength, core strength, specifically on the obliques, kind of the muscles on the outside of the torso, shoulder mobility, shoulder stability, and I am sure that there are a few benefits that I am forgetting. Needless to say, you can see why we love this exercise so much and why it's so important to us that you get it right. So today we are going to be sharing our top coaching tips for the Kettlebell Windmill. So first off, let's actually start with a Kettlebell Windmill. So what is this exercise? Well, we are going to do a little demo here. All right, so that is the Kettlebell Windmill. They don't have to be done in silence, but nobody else was here and I didn't really want to talk through it, so forgive me for that. So let's talk about it from the ground up, okay? So first things first with the Kettlebell Windmill, I'm just going to move my kettlebell off to the side. We want to make sure that we have our feet set about shoulder distance or even a little bit inside shoulders when we start. Once we have our feet in that position, we want to turn them away from the hand that's holding the kettlebell at a 45-degree angle. So in this case, my left hand would be holding onto the kettlebell and my feet would be turned away towards the right at a 45-degree angle. So that is going to be step one. Number two, we are going to do a lateral or a hip shift and lift, okay? So we sometimes call this saucy hip. If you are a Legally Blonde fan, then you may have heard about the bend and snap, and that can be a great coaching cue for this too. But what we are going to do is we are going to shift those hips back and lift up, and we are going to get tall and long through this back leg. Number three, when we think about our weight distribution between the legs, we want to think about 70% of the weight on this back leg and 30% on this front one. That's tough to kind of figure out if you've gotten it right, but here is a great way to know. So if you have all of the weight on that front foot, you won't really be able to kind of tap your toe. So if you are shifted and you have most of your weight on this back leg and about 30% on this front leg, you should be able to tap that toe easily. So that is our tip there to kind of check that out. Next up, when you get in position, so you've turned your feet, you've shifted the hips and lifted them, weight is evenly distributed, you are going to be moving back. So my arm would be up here. You're going to be shifting those hips back until you reach your end point. And so what do we mean by your end point? Well, the windmill is an exercise that is really determined by your personal mobility ability. So what do we mean by that? It's when you are actually in the position and you are moving back into the windmill, you'll hit a point where it will be your end range. So your hips will stop, so that's where you will stop. And what we're looking for at that place or that moment in time is that your shoulder and your hip are in a nice straight line. What we don't want to see is you reaching maybe towards the floor, and we don't want to see kind of that rainbow position or that lateral flexing through the spine. We want to see a nice straight line, like I said, from that shoulder to hip. And then lastly, where are our arms? So ideally we want to have the hand that's holding the kettlebell in a nice straight line stacked over the shoulder, and then we want to continue that line all the way down to the other hand. And then we're going to squeeze the glutes, use the abs, come back up to center. And there we have it. Those are our top tips on the Kettlebell Windmill. So let's just go over them one more time. So number one, we want to turn the feet away from the kettlebell at a 45-degree angle. Number two, hips. We want to shift and lift, so saucy hip or bend and snap. Number 3, we want to check our weight distribution. So can we tap that front foot? Are we at about a 70-30 for weight distribution? Number 4, when we're in our final position, do we have that nice straight spine position from shoulder to hip? And number 5, are we in a nice straight line with our arms? And then number 6, use the glutes to initiate the movement back up to the top. So that is our minitude on the kettlebell windmill. We hope you enjoy this exercise as much as we do. As always, if you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments below, and have a wonderful rest of your day.